Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Danny and today we are going to be doing a chit chat. Get ready with me. So I did this look a couple videos ago. I think it was for my college advice video and it was the perfect fall look. And so I wanted to recreate that look because I got a lot of questions on how I did it on Instagram and a couple of comments here on YouTube saying that they really like the makeup. And so I'm going to do a little chit chat. Get ready with me. Another thing I get a lot of questions on is how I learned Spanish.
Hola, me llamo Danny. Hoy es mi primer día en la universidad. Hola, me llamo Daniela y todavía estoy comiendo gallo pinto, pero aprendí que es un plato tradicional aquí en Costa Rica. Pura vida, más que más, me llamo Daniela, pero a veces me dicen Danielica. Por dicha soy más rica que el gallo pinto, jugando mejenga y llevándola suave, tomando el yodo más rico en todo el mundo. Tuanismai, pura vida.
So I started with a clean face, and the first thing I always do is eyes, and this is what I use. Maybelline Instant Age Rewind to do my concealer as well as prime my eyes. Robert Welch, if you're watching this, I doubt it. But please don't come for me. I know he says use a primer. I used to use the Urban Decay Instant, priming potion. So I just start off by priming the eyes like so. Super messy, and then I go in with the brush, and you can go in with the beauty blender or whatever you are comfortable with going in with. Let's get into the story. When I was a freshman in college, and so I took Spanish because I have been wanting to learn Spanish forever. Now let's backtrack just a little bit. I am half Mexican and I am half white. My mom is Mexican and my dad is white. And with that being said, I grew up thoroughly around Spanish. My mom's side of the family all spoke Spanish. She speaks Spanish. My grandma lived with me my entire life. They both spoke Spanish with each other. My grandma spoke Spanish to me. But they never forced me to speak Spanish back to them. It wasn't like a thing where they didn't know English. Obviously they do. And so I just talked to them in English. Well, that was problem number one. I never learned Spanish. I only could comprehend it. I knew what they were saying. I would say my comprehension level was probably at like a 60%. I mainly knew what like my family was saying, but if I started listening to like other people talk, I don't know, different accents and things like that was not my thing back then. Okay, so now that the eyes are primed, let's pause the story. I'm going to be using the Jaclyn Hill palette. It's the first palette she came out with Morphe. So I'm going to go in with a big fluffy brush. This one is from Signa. It's the Tapered Blending F40. And I always start on this side of the palette here. So I'm going to go in with those two shades right here, and I'm going to mix them up, and I'm going to toss that into the crease in big circular motions and get this color all in there. And so I just dip, 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 tap off the excess, and then I go in. And so, okay, so now that you know that background about where I was, I guess, in Spanish, I then took a class in college, and it was just Spanish 1, basic Spanish. I have taken Spanish classes in high school, but I didn't learn anything. In college, I was determined to learn. I wanted to learn things, so I took my that class very seriously. I mean, that's kind of like a blowout class in college. You just get in, get your A, and leave. And but I really wanted to learn, so I actually took the time to learn those things. And so I started learning like the basic things in Spanish, just like when you're like 2, you learn like basic words in English. Now at the end of the class, a lady from Austin, Texas came on behalf of a company called Soul Education, and she came to talk to us and to let us know that there were study abroad opportunities if you wanted to learn Spanish. And so, I mean, the class, that was a presentation day, the class, like whatever. I left that class, and I remember I went at UTSA, sat in the Sombria, I called my mom before my next class. I was like, Mom, I'm going to Costa Rica. They have a class in Costa Rica. Like, you can go study abroad at the university. Mind you, studying abroad had never occurred to me in my entire life. I mean, I thought that only happened in movies. It was like in the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody type of thing, like when they went on the cruise ship. And so that was such a foreign topic to like a first generation college student. And so anyways, I called her and I was like, this lady just came, I told her the whole story, and she's like, do it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And though in the class she said, the lady from Austin said that the prerequisite to go to Costa Rica or to study in any country that they had available, I think it was Argentina, Costa Rica, Spain, and Oaxaca, Mexico. The prerequisite to go to those countries were that you had to take Spanish 1 and 2 at your home university. And so with that being said, I was only in Spanish 1, and that was the only thing that was required by my major. So I went and talked to my advisor, and I basically was like, how can I make this happen? Is it going to make me graduate later? You know, am I going to, whatever, is this gonna affect my actual degree? She said no, whatever, and so I was like, okay, great. So I'm just gonna keep deepening up that crease, if you're wondering what I'm doing on my eyes, with the same 2 colors. And just really smoke it out, blend it out in light pressure. So then I figured out how I was gonna do it. I was a freshman in college at this time, and I still had a lot of money saved from my first job, which was Starbucks back in high school, because I mean, I didn't have anything to spend my money on, so all I did was save it. And so I had a ton of money saved, and I knew how I was going to be able to do it. And then the summer came, May of 2017. It was time to go to Costa Rica. It was right after school ended. I remember I packed up my dorm. I went home and left all of my stuff from my dorm in my parents' house, and then I took the flight to Costa Rica. That was the first time I was ever flying by myself. That was the first time I ever left the country by myself. Mind you, I didn't go with anybody else from my university. I was the only one who went from UTSA. And so when we landed in Costa Rica, I was like, oh my god, this is it. There's no going back. What have I done? Because I then started walking, and like at that point, I honestly didn't even know how to get my luggage. Okay, here I am talking without doing my makeup. Next, I'm gonna change brushes. And then these 2 are my signature brushes to start off almost every single look. I'm gonna go in with the Sigma Blending E25, another OG brush. And then I'm gonna start deepening up that crease. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this red color here. This is going to this red color is what's really going to start bringing in the fall vibes. And so I just want to, I'm gonna tap, tap, tap very lightly, dust off the excess. And then with light pressure, I'm gonna go in at the top portion of my crease, kind of like on the brow bone here. Not too high, but not too deep into the crease, because the deeper colors we want lower to the lash line. Okay, that's just how I go about my lips. I mean, don't come for me, Robert Walsh. Anyways, okay, where was I? There were taxis everywhere. They were screaming at me. They were like, taxi, taxi. And obviously, here I am, little white girl. They knew I did not know Spanish. And so they were, you know, saying stuff in English, taxi, the best rate, taxi. And I was like, no, I know that I can't fall for this, because they said, do not go with the taxi, go with us. I walked out into the main area where you're leaving the airport at this point. And all I saw was like a bunch of people with signs, and I was like, okay, where's the sign that says Soul Education? And it was probably the second to last person, and at that point I was freaking out. And there was already a group of people. I was the last person. I had like a 2:30 flight. I was the last person. And then once you get it up here in this entire crease area, I'm gonna start bringing it down and blending it out in circular motions towards the lash line. Okay, and then we get on a bus. I was the last person to arrive at the airport, and I was the first person to get off the bus. We went about a 15-minute drive, and my neighborhood was the first neighborhood next to the university. And I get off, and they tell me they're speaking to us in English, the program people, because they knew English, and they said, okay, from here on out, your host parents do not know English. I mean, you're just gonna have to figure it out. You're gonna have to bring up what you know. Get off the bus, they give me my luggage, and my papaticos are there waiting for me. And they tell me hi, and they introduce themselves, and mind you, I'm understanding everything that they're saying, but I had no idea how to respond. Oh, it's so hard. I cringe thinking about probably the look on my face. I cringe thinking about how all of that, like how I had no idea what to say. Me staring at them, listening, shaking my head, like, and them asking, are you understanding? And I'm like, yes, I understand. The next day, I got there on a Saturday. The next day we were going to go zip lining. And I remember it's so like fresh. We went zip lining in the canopies in Costa Rica, and that was like the first like vacation that we had like in the whole trip. After the first 3 weeks, you were kind of on your own. I was there for a total of 9 weeks. Super cool program. I really enjoy the people, all of that stuff. Super great. I'll leave a link down below to the program if you're watching this and you want to go learn Spanish in Argentina, Spain, Oaxaca, or Costa Rica. The first day, little vacay, and so Monday, I remember waking up and I was like, I'm late for school. Oh my god, what am I gonna do? Because I woke up and it was bright, like it was like daytime, and I look at my phone and it was 5 a.m. and the sun was already out. And I was like, I thought not only am I waking up in a different place, a different house, a bunch of strangers at this point, I had no idea, like, I don't know, I just felt very disoriented because why did my clock say 5 and it looked like it was like 10 a.m. there? Well, I had come to find out that it got dark at like 5 p.m. that day too. So the sun rose at like 5 a.m. and it got dark at like 5 p.m. And so I ended up, my Papa Tico walked me to school the first day because my Mama Tico worked, and he was the one who like stayed home and like made breakfast for me. And so I woke up and I got ready, put my clothes on. He had breakfast waiting for me. I ate some breakfast, and then he walked me to the university. And that was the only day he was going to take me to the university. So I had to remember how to get there. I'm terrible at directions. You have to show me about 5 times before I remember how to get there. And so he would tell me like, okay, some other girls live down the street, you know, that are in your class or in the program. They're going to be walking too. So, you know, he would always be watching out there for them. He'd be like, hurry, they're walking by so you can catch up with them. He was super cute. And so that's how it went. That's how the days went on. I'd wake up, eat breakfast with them, walk to the university with like the other groups of people. Let's move on. But first, let me tell you what next step I'm gonna do with my eyes. As you can see, it's super blown out. As you can see, it's super like maroon orangey color. And so next we're gonna go in with the deeper browns. Called the Charlotte Ronson blender brush. I'm just gonna dip around with my brush, again, tap off the excess, and I'm going to hit it right here in the corner when you close your eye and start blending it in windshield wiper motions. And so now obviously learning Spanish here at a university in the United States is not the same as being completely immersed in a different culture and nobody around you speaks English. Not your teachers, not your parents, like your host parents. And with those classes, they just, I don't know, they just teach you just like we learned English growing up in like the grammatical sense of English in elementary school all the way until high school. You know, we had to take those kind of classes, and that's basically what it is. And I mean, I always tell people this because people are always asking me, oh my god, how did you learn it in 3 months? Listen, language is acquired. It's not something that you're gonna take a class and no, it comes with practice. And just like a toddler, I mean, they have to practice, and that's what they're doing with their parents when they're babbling, is they're practicing, they're hearing the way they sound, they're hearing the way their parents sound, and that's basically what I did. I had to constantly practice, and when I tell you, when we sat at the dinner table and tried to have a conversation the first 3 weeks, all the way, honestly, the whole 9 weeks, it was so bad. I don't know how I would talk. I really don't know what I would say to them. So anyways, I've deepened up the crease with this brown color, and next we're almost done. Okay, next I'm gonna go in with a tight line brush like this. It's just a stiff flat brush. It's the BH Cosmetics 11, and I'm gonna go in with this brown, which is a darker brown with undertones of red. And so I'm just gonna tap, tap, tap. And then I'm going to really get deep into the lash line and just kind of wiggle it around there. Just as time went on, I was able to start picking up the language, practicing every day at the university with teachers, just constantly being taught new things, learning and more like learning grammatical things. And I think learning the structure of how I'm supposed to be talking is really what helped me, you know, pick up the language so quickly, and also having to go home and practice it throughout the day. And then we started meeting like friends there at the university that spoke Spanish. Obviously, they were people who actually like lived there, and that was their home university. And we would make friends with them, and you know, they would take us out to the discotecas, and we would go all over the place, and it was just cool meeting new friends, Costa Rican friends, and just basically having that entire experience. And so just basically speaking Spanish with them, speaking Spanish with my papaticos, just being there submerged in the culture and having no choice but to learn the language is what made me pick it up like that. So that's kind of exactly how I learned Spanish at the university. But since I left Costa Rica, I now was able to speak to my mom in Spanish. And so I would say for about a good year, on our phone calls that we would have every day, I'd call her every day, I would speak Spanish to her. I would practice my Spanish. Just with that, practicing with somebody that I was like super close to, it like at home really helped me apply everything that I learned in Costa Rica and apply it here when I got home. And so, okay, and then I'll finish telling you right now, and as you can see, it's super smoked out. And then I'm gonna go in and do the face real quick. I bring that up, language is acquired, because I wasn't going to learn 100% of the language and be 100% fluid in 3 months. Granted, that is where I learned the majority of my Spanish. But what it takes is really perfecting the language, perfecting everything that you know, and all of that in your now home country is applying it and practicing it, because if you don't practice it, you're gonna lose it. That's just anything in life. Now knowing Spanish for 3 years, I'm still learning more and more. I'm still perfecting the accent. I'm still perfecting speaking. Now I would say I am 99% fluent. Okay, I'm back. I went in and bronzed off camera because I was just taking way too long. And I'm gonna go in and show you how I do the under lash line. I always go in with a black pencil. This is the CoverGirl Perfect Point Plus. And I just go in and tight line my waterline. And then what I'm gonna go in and do, just to kind of tie the entire look together and blend out what we just did, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of this red color and then this brown color right here. Really tap off the excess. And you want to go in with light pressure and start in the outer corner and work your way in. Fast forward to now, I still practice a ton, and that is because I have a Mexican boyfriend, and he speaks Spanish. His parents don't speak English, and so every time we go there to visit them, it's basically like I am submerged in a different culture again. I mean, I'm in Mexico, they live in Mexico, and I am not speaking English pretty much the entire time I'm there unless I'm just talking to him. I just go in with the Urban Decay Perversion, and I'm gonna go in and do my lashes, and I'll be back. Okay, so this is the final look. All I did off camera was go in and put my mascara on, and I just put some lips on. I used a mix of the Bare Minerals in shade Boss, and I mixed it with the Lorac Alter Ego lip liner. So anyways, I really hope you enjoyed my story of Costa Rica. It is truly one of the best times in my entire life. Granted, I don't have a lot of times in my entire life. What? I don't have a lot of times in my entire life, but I've been to a lot of places, and Costa Rica is forever going to have a special place in my heart. I would totally go and live there right now if I could. I love Costa Rica. I love everything that I learned there. Not only did I learn Spanish, I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about the country. Their culture is so beautiful. I just loved everything about it. I went to all 5 different provinces there in Costa Rica, and every single one of them is beautiful. I did not encounter a mean person. Everyone was just so nice, and I could just go on. This could be a video in itself about Costa Rica and their culture and how beautiful it is. Again, I really hope you enjoyed, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I post content like this all the time, and I post every Wednesday. So until then, I will see you next Wednesday, and I hope you have a fabulous week.